Hello and welcome to my presentation on intercultural communication in Amish culture. I'm Adam Doherty, and in this short video I'm going to explain who the Amish are, as well as how their cultural values shape their communication, and how interactions with the outside world highlight important intercultural concepts that we've learned in this class. So who are the Amish? Well, they're a Christian Anabaptist group that originated in Europe and settled in Pennsylvania in the 1700s. And today, they live mainly in the states of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana, but they can also be found in some more niche areas like southern Maryland. Their community is centered around their faith, as well as their values in community and simplicity. Which this lifestyle is not accidental, as it reflects their intentional cultural choices designed to preserve their identity and strengthen community ties. The Amish have 5 core values that shape their lives, as well as their communication. First being that they emphasize community over individualism, which in short is just that personal desires are less important than operating as a group. Second is their humility, which this value influences their speech as well as their behavior and even their body language. The Amish also value simplicity, which guides everything from their architecture to their transportation methods. They prioritize religious devotion, which acts as the true foundation for their daily decision making. And finally, they maintain a separation from the outside world to help preserve their cultural traditions and avoid influences they see as harmful. Language is one of the strongest markers in Amish identity, as Amish communities speak what is called Pennsylvania Dutch as their primary language within the group. When interacting with non-Amish individuals, who they call the English, they switch to speaking English. This kind of language switching is known as code switching, which helps create and maintain cultural boundaries. Speaking Pennsylvania Dutch signals belonging to the Amish community, while English signals interaction with outsiders. So for the Amish, language is not just a communication tool, but it is also a powerful part of their identity. Nonverbal communication is also a very big part of Amish culture. They tend to avoid confrontation and prefer communication methods that maintain harmony. So they'll use nonverbal cues such as changes in their tone, their posture, as well as gestures that can carry significant meaning in Amish culture. These subtle cues can often replace direct statements. Silence is also meaningful, as it can show respect and thoughtfulness, or even a desire to avoid conflict depending on the situation. The Amish also communicate through action. For example, working together as a community can demonstrate their unity as well as their cooperation without needing to say anything at all. So contrary to popular belief, the Amish don't entirely reject technology. They just adopt it selectively. They evaluate every piece of technology, such as a telephone, as well as electricity or a tractor, separately from each other, and they'll use it based on whether it might weaken community ties or promote pride and independence. Phones, to contrary belief, are allowed, but they are kept outside of the home in something similar to a phone booth. This allows for necessary communication when needed, but it also prevents phones from disrupting family life, like a smartphone. Face-to-face communication is always preferred, as it helps build trust and strengthens relationships. Their technology choices reflect their deeper cultural values of humility and simplicity, as well as being one of a community. Interactions between the Amish as well as outsiders can be pretty complex. Outsiders often misunderstand Amish customs, which can lead to stereotypes, as well as poor oversimplification of their lifestyle. Photography of their face is highly discouraged because actually showing their face in photos can conflict with the Amish belief about modesty as well as their religious teachings, which doesn't help because in areas like Lancaster County, where tourism is very high, this tourism can create tension, where people will try to take photos or they disrespect Amish values. And Amish communities, while depending on it economically, can find this constant attention to be very intrusive. Media portrayals also can create some power imbalances, since outsiders often control the narrative of Amish culture more than people realize. Maintaining these cultural boundaries is essential in helping the Amish preserve their identity in the face of these pressures. So Rumspringa is one of the most misunderstood aspects of Amish life, and in short, popular culture portrays it as a wild period of exaggerated behaviors that are rebellious. But in reality, spring is actually a structured period of limited independence that allows Amish teenagers to experience certain freedoms while remaining deeply connected to their families. The purpose of this is to actually help them make an informed decision about joining the church as an adult. which most Amish young adults, around 80 to 90% of them, will ultimately choose to remain in the church, which is part of their community. And finally, I have some intercultural communication takeaways. I thought that this project demonstrates how deeply culture can influence communication methods. The Amish values shape their language choices, it shapes their nonverbal communication, their conflict styles, and their technology use. And misunderstandings between the Amish and outsiders can often result from different cultural contexts. By learning about Amish communication patterns, I think we can significantly improve our intercultural competence and gain insight into how identity, as well as values, can help guide human interaction.